In the next section of the Revelation, starting in chapter 4, John sees a vision of the throne of God. The throne of God appears, surrounded by 24 thrones with 24 elders seated in them. The 4 living creatures are introduced. A scroll with 7 seals is presented, and it is declared that the Lion of the tribe of Judah, from the roots of David, is the only one worthy to open this scroll. When the Lamb, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, takes the scroll, the creatures of heaven fall down before the Lamb to give him praise, joined by myriads of angels and the creatures of the earth. An interesting note here is that what is described as the Lion of the tribe of Judah is portrayed as a lamb who had been slain. In the next section, 7 seals are opened. With the first seal, a white horse appears, whose crowned rider has a bow with which to conquer. With the second seal, a red horse appears, whose rider is granted a great sword to take peace from the earth. With the third seal, a black horse appears, whose rider has a pair of balances in his hand. And a voice then says, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and do not damage the oil and the wine." With the fourth seal, a pale horse appears, whose rider is Death, and Hades follows him. Death is granted a 4th part of the earth to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and with the wild beasts of the earth. With the 5th seal, we see a vision under the altar where there appears to be the souls of the martyrs for the word of God. They cry out for vengeance, and they are given white robes and told to rest until the martyrdom of their brothers and sisters is completed. With the 6th seal, there occurs a great earthquake where the sun becomes black as sackcloth of hair and the moon like blood. The stars of heaven fall to the earth, and the sky recedes like a scroll being rolled up. Every mountain and island is moved out of place. The people of earth retreat to caves in the mountains. The survivors call upon the mountains and the rocks to fall on them, so as to hide them from the wrath of the Lamb. The text then comes to an interlude where the 144,000 Hebrews are sealed. The 144,000 from the 12 tribes of Israel are sealed as servants of God on their foreheads. Note that for some reason Dan is missing from this list. A great multitude stands before the throne of God, who came out of the great tribulation, clothed with robes made white in the blood of the Lamb, and having palm branches in their hands. We then come to the 7th seal, which also introduces the 7 trumpets. Here there is silence in heaven for about half an hour. 7 angels are each given trumpets. An 8th angel takes a golden censer filled with fire from the heavenly altar and throws it to the earth. What follows are peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. After the 8th angel has devastated the earth, the 7 angels prepare to sound their trumpets. In the next section, the 7 trumpets are sounded. With the first trumpet comes hail and fire mingled with blood, which are thrown to the earth, burning up 1/3 of the trees and the green grass. With the second trumpet, something that resembles a great mountain burning with fire falls from the sky and lands in the ocean. It kills 1/3 of the sea creatures and destroys 1/3 of the ships at sea. With the third trumpet, a great star named Wormwood falls from heaven and poisons 1/3 of the rivers and springs of water. With the fourth trumpet, 1/3 of the sun, the moon, and the stars are darkened, creating complete darkness for 1/3 of the day and the night. We then come to the 5th trumpet, which introduces the first of 3 woes. We see a star falling from the sky. This star is given the key to the bottomless pit. The star then opens the bottomless pit. When this happens, smoke rises from the abyss like smoke from a gigantic furnace. The sun and sky are darkened by the smoke from the abyss. From out of the smoke emerge locusts who are given power like that of scorpions of the earth and are commanded not to harm anyone or anything except for people who were not given the seal of God on their foreheads. The locusts are described as having a human appearance, faces and hair, but with lions' teeth, and wearing breastplates of iron. The sound of their wings resembles the thundering of many horses and chariots rushing into battle. We then come to the 6th trumpet, which corresponds with the second woe, and we see that the 4 angels who are bound to the great river Euphrates are released to prepare 200 million horsemen. These armies kill 1/3 of mankind by plagues of fire, smoke, and brimstone. We then come to an interlude introducing the little scroll. An angel appears with 1 foot on the sea and 1 foot on the land, having an opened little scroll in his hand. Upon the cry of the angel, 7 thunders utter mysteries and secrets that are not to be written down by John. John is instructed to eat the little scroll that happens to be sweet in his mouth but bitter in his stomach, and to prophesy. John is given a measuring rod to measure the temple of God, the altar, and those who worship there. Outside the temple, the court of the holy city, is trod by the nations for 42 months, or 3.5 years, and 2 witnesses prophesy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth, until they are killed by the beast and raised to life by God 3 days later for the whole world to see. We then come to the 7th trumpet, which corresponds with the 3rd woe, which also introduces us to the 7 bowls. Here we see the temple of God opening in heaven, and the ark of his covenant can be seen there. There is lightning, loud noises, thunder, an earthquake, and large hail.